Hi there, welcome to this tutorial for the play-along videos of Home by Edith Whiskers, which is a massive hit underneath TikTok videos and is something that you might want to learn how to play. So what we're going to do in this video is, first of all, we'll look at the chords you need for GCEA, soprano, concert, or tenor ukulele, both in the keys of F and G. And then we'll take a look at the chords you need for DGBE baritone ukulele, and then I will also give you some strumming suggestions. Now, you can scroll ahead using the scroll bar at the bottom to the different chapters that appear in this video. You'll also see those chapters linked below in the description, as well as with a lot of other information if you'd like to see more about this channel, how to support the work, how to request songs, and so forth. And if you like the chords of the song, you can go to ukestuff.info and you can download the tabs for this song. There's a link that appears in the description below, or you can just go to uketabs and search it. So let's begin with GCEA soprano, concert, or tenor ukulele. For GCEA, I'll be using this instrument in this video. This is the Big Fish concert ukulele. It sells on Amazon for about $90. All right, so the first chord you need in the key of F, and this is a transposed version. So this is not the original key. That comes next. So the first chord you need is the A minor chord. Then you need the C chord. Then you need the F chord. Then the D minor chord, just add one finger. Then the G chord. And then we're going to do a different chord that only appears once in the song, and it's an F chord with a B added to it. So with your ring finger, you're going to add the first string, second fret, and then that just lifts off back to the F chord again. A moment of tension in the song. And those are the chords you need to play Home by Edith Whiskers on GCEA, soprano, concert, or tenor ukulele in the key of F. Now let's take a look at the chords you need to play Home by Edith Whiskers in the key of G, which is the original key. The first chord is the B minor chord, which is a bar chord. Now, I practice with my students in 5th grade when they're learning ukulele from the first day or second day doing bar chords. So we start at the 5th fret and bar across all 4 strings above the 5th fret and just practice going up and down. Now, if you notice I'm doing something right now, is I'm making my finger like a gun shape while I'm doing that, just to prove that you don't need a lot of pressure to play a bar chord. Now, your ukulele could be set up poorly with really high action at the nut, would make it very hard to play bar chords. That's a possibility. You should measure your ukulele sometime, and if there's more than 0.5 millimeters between the bottom of the string and the top of the middle fret, they actually sell something called a string action gauge to measure those, and really all players should eventually own one of those action gauges. If that action is more like towards 1 millimeter, you probably need to get your ukulele professionally set up if you don't know how to do it yourself. And that can be anywhere between $50 and $75 to have somebody do for you, but it's worthwhile doing. So that will make playing bar chords easier as well. But the real secret, if you notice what I'm doing, starting at that 5th fret, is I pull against the fretboard with my first finger, and I'm holding my ukulele firmly with my right arm. And then, if I pull against it, I can actually get a pretty clear sound because I'm above that metal fret. Some people will say turn your finger or something like that as you do it. I don't really worry about that so much. I just let the sort of friction of the pressure of me holding that instrument towards myself do most of the work, and then I can add my thumb. So yeah, I don't play bar chords just like that all the time. I do use my thumb, but I was just proving that you don't need the thumb to do a super hard clenching motion with your instrument. So that's how you start with that bar chord above the 2nd fret. And then you add your 3rd finger to the 4th string, 4th fret. And that's your B minor chord. The next chord you need is a G chord, then a D chord, however you're going to play it. There are a bunch of ways to play the D chord. I always put my first finger at the top of the 3rd string, 2nd fret, and the other 2 fingers around it. But you can play it however it works for you. You can go 1, 2, 3 in a row. You can play it with 1 finger. You can play it with 2 fingers. Whatever works for you for that D chord. The next chord is a variation of the G chord, and it's actually pretty much the same G chord, but with a bar shape. So if you've got that B minor chord, just add the 2nd finger to the 2nd string, 3rd fret, and that's suddenly a G chord. And you're going to need that at the beginning, going from B minor to G, and the next shift is to the D. So practice going B minor, G. So it's really like an F shape, if you know the F chord, and then to the D chord. Then you've got your E minor chord. As a little secret, by the way, you can play your G chord and just add your pinky to the 3rd string, 4th fret to make an E minor chord too. That's also very possible to do when you're going from G to E minor. Then you've got an A chord, and then the last chord is a G chord. So make the G chord, but then add your pinky to the 1st string, 4th fret. Hear that? That's a C sharp, and then you'll pull away back to the G chord. It happens just once in the song, and it's kind of a cool moment of tension in the song. And those are the chords you need to play Home by Edith Whiskers on GCEA soprano concert or tenor ukulele in the key of B minor. All right, for baritone ukulele, I'll be using this instrument. It's my Flight NUB 310 baritone ukulele. Just as a side note, as of 2021, Flight is still shipping these with GCEA tuning. So if you want baritone DGBE tuning, you're going to use baritone strings. I use Living Water strings. They're made by Ken Middleton in the UK, or packaged by Ken Middleton in the UK. And I love these because there's no wound string for the lower notes. And I don't like the squeak of a metal string, so I like the all fluorocarbon strings here. All right, the first chord you're going to need is the B minor chord. And it's, to be honest, coming from playing a lot of GCEA ukulele, I'm used to playing the E minor chord, which is its sort of sibling on GCEA ukulele. I'm used to playing that with just 3 fingers rather than 4. But on the baritone ukulele with linear tuning, that sounds a little weird. But if you play it with the 4 fingers, that's a better inversion with the lowest note that you hear. So you've got your B minor chord, then you've got your G chord, then you've got your D chord, and you've got an E minor chord, an A chord, and then a weird chord. So you play your G chord, but then add any finger, could be, for example, your 2nd finger to the 2nd string, 2nd fret. There we're adding a C sharp, and then take it off. That only happens once in the song, so that G with an added C sharp, and then it will resolve to your G. And those are the chords you need to play Home by Edith Whiskers on baritone DGBE ukulele. Now let's talk about strumming. Now in terms of strumming, I'm going to give you 2 different options here. And I'm going to do this in the key of G. So if you're playing the transpose version, which is easier to do on GCEA ukulele, just practice the strumming on those chords instead. But we're just going to do sort of, the standard progression here that happens in the song. And it'll start with the B minor chord. But what we're going to do is just go up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. That's option number 1 for you. Pretty standard. Then back to your B minor. And by the way, if you drop the chord for a second as you're strumming and the strings lift up, it's okay. That's all part of the performance. Now, the other option I want to give you is a picking pattern that you might want to try. Now, what am I doing there? Well, it's just my standby. So if you watch this channel, you know that when it comes to picking, there's a couple things that I really like using that I basically took from Mike Lynch, who was one of the early ukulele teachers on YouTube. Died a few years ago. It has a really good collection of chord melody songs if you're trying to learn how to play some melody that's supported with chords. That's why they call it chord melody. And you play it all generally with your thumb with the melody on the top string. He actually has that for sale too. And his wife, by the way, continues to fulfill those orders. But anyway, what he always did was he used 3 fingers generally with picking, unless you had to like play all 4 strings at once, and then you have to use 4. But the thumb covers strings 4 and 3. The first finger covers string 2, and the second finger covers string 1. And what I do for that, and I'm just going to use the B minor chord, is you pluck 1, 2, and 4, strings 1, 2, and 4, and then I pluck the 3rd string. then change the chord. And you stay on that chord for a second, and then next chord. That also works really well with the song. I mean, it is a piano going chord, 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 chord. So in a lot of ways, makes a lot of sense. But this is a modification of that if you were going to play it by yourself without the play along, that might be a really nice sound to have as you are singing along with it. All right. Now, let me just, for the sake of those of you that are struggling with, for example, the minor chords still and don't want to deal with that, let's just switch it over to A minor. So that's now in the key of F. So you've got your A minor chord, C, C, and then F. Now, if you're following along a baritone at that point, you're like, F, you didn't cover that earlier. Yeah, because they didn't make a version of this one in F because it works just well in its original key. But those two ideas work really well. Now, what if you hear something else? That's okay. You go and play what you hear with that. These videos are made for people that struggle with coming up with their own ideas of what to strum. Not everybody can do that easily. So if you don't know how to strum a particular song and you want some ideas, that's what this part is for. If you hear this and hear something completely different, you go ahead and play that. It's okay. As I always say, there's no ukulele police that's going to come up and on your door and say, hello, you're playing the wrong pattern. Can we have your ukulele, please? Nobody's going to do that to you. All right. So in summary, with those chords, either in the keys of F or G on GCEA ukulele or on baritone, and with that strumming pattern or with that picking pattern, the song is going to sound pretty good. So again, you have freedom to do other things if you want, but that'll get you going on Home by Edith Whiskers. All right. Thanks so much for watching the video. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll be back soon with some more uke stuff for you.